Call the meeting to order. It's what, 2:03? 2:04? Close enough. Okay, give a copy to review the minutes from August 21st, and I didn't have one for you.
I'm okay.
You went through it. Anybody have any questions about them?
I did make a couple little revisions, so
Yeah, you did, right?
hopefully everybody got those.
Yeah.
Or just seen
That's the
them.
last one that, all right.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Any second?
I will.
Okay. Any questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Donation report. There was actually three donations. Actually, okay, first of all, last month, or prior to that, I found out your $340 was accounted and put in. So I added that to this one. And then we had this Toro snow blower for $750 put in, and the folding bike for $120, which brings up to, I didn't get one for the accordion, from the accounting. They didn't give me a list, a sheet, but it's the accordion for $350, bassinet for $50, and the pack and play for $20. That's $420. Just went downstairs, and yes, that was deposited, so I'm gonna add that to this file after this meeting. But right now, on the general side, the same as last month, $5,598.76. On the trail side, we have $35,734.55, for a grand total of $41,333.31. I'm going to give that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
I move we approve the financial.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Landscaping?
Well,
Or you want to go last?
Or you wanted to vote?
oh, yes, I will vote. I think that most of what I have to talk about would really logically be under old business, because we need to
Okay.
make some decisions. But in your packet, I'll just review what you have. You have the main report, which I developed earlier. So if I crossed off some things that are not relevant. You have a to-do list, blank, and you have a calendar to-do list through December of 2026. And the purpose of those to-do is for us to establish what jobs need to be done monthly after we get a master timeline developed, and then who is going to be responsible for it. And then we can review progress every month. So that's what's in this packet. The other pages are for later on when we go
Okay.
to whole business.
All right. So that's it for now?
That, I think it's pretty, what I did
Okay.
is break it down into the community gardens and to do, and there's nothing really with the community gardens. Everybody's gonna have their tanks cleared by the 1st of November. We just have to I need to let them know when water is gonna be shut off and hoses picked up. And then we have to decide about the camera and take it down.
Oh, we need to take it down.
Yeah, and then I'm going to send a gentle reminder to the gardeners that the area around their tanks is their responsibility for weed control. And that I think in order to, we might have to add a caveat next spring. In order to get a tank, you have to agree to keep the weeds removed. It's not our job to go in there and weed around people's tanks. They have to be responsible. there's still some in there, and several people who got ill, have already emptied their tank. And so there's no problems down there. And what we have to do is, we have to do something with that compost thing, either we need to put one side on it, you know.
After we empty it.
Or,
Well, empty it and then,
which is easy enough to do, and then, get rid of those trash cans. Nobody used them this summer, and we don't.
Oh, really?
Not so, nobody put trash in the compost.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
So that's a huge, major accomplishment, not to empty your car into our trash can. But
Yes.
All right, then,
So
we'll,
do you want to move the parks and landscaping down under old business and?
yeah, we'll do that,
there?
we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, so then I guess trails?
Okay.
Like a book over there.
It's, yeah, there's been a lot going on.
We're gonna be here a while.
A couple of these, they didn't staple properly, so if there's a stray sheet in it, that's what happened. The machine is not great. I guess they've been having,
I'm sorry.
having issues with it.
Oh, we're going along. Man.
We need
There's one more,
One more?
one more, and I need one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's the trail crew report, and then pass this around too. I don't know if you guys have gotten a copy of this, or sometimes it's good to have a paper copy, so.
Was this that other, like, synopsis? of
This is the agreement.
Oh,
This is on the trail, right?
Yes, it's the agreement with the Forest Service that I'm gonna go through, just to
Let's see.
highlight some stuff.
did you get one, Joanne?
I did.
Okay.
No, you don't have the
Oh,
agreement.
the agreement?
Oh,
Here you go. You guys have those. Got one more?
Yeah,
You got one,
I
right?
got one right here.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, the agreement, that was the first thing I handed out. Basically, the Forest Service finally executed the non-funded cost-sharing agreement between the town and the Forest Service, which is essentially the document that allows our trail crew to exist and do work on the forest. So a lot of this stuff in this document is boilerplate, but there's a few things that I highlighted as you go through it, so I'm just gonna go through and comment on anywhere that's something important. It'll be highlighted in blue, and some of it's just, I'll describe what it is, but, so basically it's a boilerplate document that the Forest Service is allowing our trail crew to do work on the forest, and the rules we have to live by. So, nothing on page 1. On page 2, you'll see it says we have to follow the safety standards, and that's basically the long pants, hard hats, gloves, boots, when you have to wear the hard hats, that kind of stuff. So that's in writing, which is good, because that way we generally have all the people wear helmets all the time, but we generally, there's times when you don't have to, so I can loosen that restriction a little bit, but yeah, we'll abide by that. So that's all on page 2. On page 3, there's nothing other than, the people that are responsible. Page 4, it basically says we have to train our volunteers, and we're responsible for the participants and making sure they perform under this agreement. So, and we've been doing that, so that's nothing new. It's just in writing in this thing. Page 5, this one is, Trevor asked a question about this when we finally got it and we did the review on it, and Rue signed it. Historically, I've just kept all the records like in a file kind of thing. So basically there's a requirement from the Forest Service that we maintain all of our records and keep them for 3 years, and they have the ability to come and ask to see them, and which is not unusual. So I guess the only question is, do you want me to figure out a place to put them in the town to make it more formal? You know, we could keep them up in the NRB room, but that's a whole nother subject that I wanna talk about later, because that's not a good option.
No.
No.
Because you've got 2 cots in there for public works guys that sleep in there, doing, snow removal during the winter, and that supposedly is our office, so, yeah, don't get me started on that one. But, so, just thoughts on what you wanna do with the records, because I have a lot of records.
They probably should, I think they should be here at
I
the
do
town.
too, and it'd take burden off you, right, if you only had to like keep current year stuff
Well,
in your
yeah, I mean,
house,
it's
and-
basically, you know, I keep every monthly trail crew reports and all the documentation when we spend money, expense reports, a lot of stuff like that, all the formal
It'd be good to get
reports.
them out.
I would think it would be good to keep them here.
Here.
But I don't know, there's no provision for that currently.
So, because these are relatively secure pieces of information that are required by the federal government, and we have an office, but we can't use the office to secure I have 2 thick folders that I'd like to leave someplace.
We can use our office, but we'd have to have some agreement between,
That,
to get it cleaned up
and locked.
And locked.
and not be.
locked, and who has access to the key, and it can't be used as a sleeping room anymore.
Exactly,
Well,
there's some issues there, you know,
What about if we just get a filing cabinet and put it in Kelly's office that has all that extra room?
well,
I mean,
I think
it's
there's more
secure,
records
right?
than,
it's up to
Filing
you.
cabinet
It would be
great.
it would be more convenient for it to be here,
yeah.
Yeah.
because it just,
Downstairs?
but you're just gonna have to ask
Downstairs.
you're gonna have to
I'll
ask.
downstairs.
You're gonna have to ask, do they want them kept here, or do they wanna just keep doing it the way I'm doing it? And if they want the town to keep them, where do they want them to keep?
Okay.
Okay?
But should the board, do you need a recommendation from the board about what would be the preference of the board?
I think the preference for me would be to keep them at town hall.
Yeah, I
It's
think we
easier
should
access for
have
you
that
and
in the
me.
record.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't require more than 1 drawer of a filing cabinet,
How much is your stuff?
an NRB drawer.
Well, I've
if
got a
you
big
know what I mean?
Yeah.
binder like
So one
You know,
drawer
put
for
it-
NRB and one
and
drawer for,
Yeah, then we can just
garden.
keep all that stuff.
And
here.
we have the filing cabinet
do?
over in our
No
office.
office.
Oh,
Yeah, so I would say you'd wanna keep it here and have a formal filing cabinet that the town knows what's in it and where it is, so if the Forest Service ever came and asked for access to these records, that they'd be readily available and cataloged year to year and month.
I'm assuming it's a locking file cabinet?
I don't know the answer to that. It's a standard office file cabinet that the town had, and it's just over there, and it has some old records in it. We would have to do a complete, like,
Purge of it.
a purge,
Yeah.
chumming, what do we need to keep, not keep.
This is only 3 years.
Yeah, but there's a lot of
at the
stuff
end of
that,
the contract.
there's a lot of stuff we keep that we need to keep forever.
And
Because
there's
there's
a FOIA
historical
thing.
records.
You know, you have to keep these records someplace, because we're required to keep them unless confidential for FOIA, so they have to be
Yeah, so-
someplace.
I'll get on
Once
that.
you determine that, then I will, once we have the place, you
Yeah.
know, it's easy for me to take the files that I've got and
Put 'em in.
Put them in there, yeah.
Okay.
What records would you be keeping beyond the time frame in this contract?
Historical stuff, like stuff that Greg wrote or that allows us to have knowledge on why we did certain things, master plan, Fox Run Park, that we were dealing, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But from just the reports to the Forest Service and my reports that this document says that I have to keep and I have to report to them annually and I have to do a plan of work, all of those kind of
Understand that.
reports, those would be the 3-year,
3 years stuff?
yeah.
And for the landscaping, what would you have that would be more than 3 years?
Well, I
No,
don't
just-
think, the book that I have is back from the very beginning, and
Okay.
it's mostly historical data, and things, but what, you know, there was an old copy of, the town management plan from back in the day. It's 10 years old at least, maybe more than that.
Yeah.
But, you know, what we need, what NRB needs is a records retention policy.
So, okay.
That we say how many, you know, for our legal purposes, how long do we retain this stuff, all our reports, all of that, and then where does that get housed?
Okay.
And if we say most retention records policy are 5 years, 3 to 5 years after the end of the date, and it's to meet legal obligations.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things here, because you got the working documents that you're required, is for the trail side,
Yeah.
3 years, and I don't know what you've got for your landscaping side.
I'll have it.
But then that gets purged out, but what comes out of that, let's say it's 2025 now, so 2022 ends up going out of the
Yeah.
file cabinet on January. So what is in that becomes historical information that needs to be kept? Because to my mind, just thinking this through, you're looking at a 4-drawer file cabinet, 2 drawers that are in the working stuff that is ongoing,
Yeah.
and 2 drawers for historic data. Does that make some sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, because then you separate everything out. But for the purposes of NRB, we have to be able to say, why did you, and probably trails too, why did you do this thing at this time and spend this money? And then we'd have to go back and say, well, that's in the minutes of 2023,
Well, yeah.
and we could pull it. So, I mean, filing cabinets are cheap.
Yes.
We already have one.
We have
Yeah,
one.
we have one, but a nice, fresh-looking one.
It's
that
pretty,
will-
it
It's-
doesn't,
it's
it's
not
not
bad.
ready.
It's
It
not
looks,
bad
it's
shape.
it's fine.
No, it's in good
But
shape.
you know, why not have, use the space and decide, Craig could decide how he needs for trails, we could decide for, Victor
Yeah.
had some thoughts about how NRB should be. I can furnish the landscaping and all of that.
Yeah, we just, when I talk to them, hopefully we have a spot where we can put a cabinet,
Yeah,
and they agree to that.
and the flip side of that, I don't wanna lose historical data.
Yeah,
But the question becomes one of, what is the significant historical data that you are going to keep? And that's something you guys are gonna have to work out.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah, there's also, I'll give you an example. This, I have these documents from Cedar Creek Trailhead that the town asked me to get the stewards to sign when we put in the safety fence.
Very important.
yeah,
And then they also, I just got this other one back, the signature for the gate at the entrance. And it's the original copy with Val's signature. That kind of stuff is like forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying to you. That's whatever
Yeah.
policy you guys come up with, that kind of stuff has gotta go historical.
Yeah.
What other stuff may or may not go, and that's your
It's
decision.
sort of like a
Yeah.
rule of why you're keeping it
But
too.
a records retention policy would cover all those
Yeah,
elements.
so,
Yep, you're correct.
okay, so we'll work on
Yeah.
that, but, yeah, you know, there's ways to do it, and if the town doesn't want us to do, we could still do it in that office,
Yeah.
but we would need to clean that up and maybe control it more
Oh, you
than it
can't
currently
text
is.
I-
message while you're driving.
Well, it's a boilerplate government
I'm
document,
just-
so,
I'm making a joke.
all right, yeah, so, page 6, there's nothing, page 7, it basically, the bottom of page 7 is the rules for chainsaws, but what's interesting
Oh.
about this is, you know, when I got certified 3 years ago, and I just expired, and I've asked the Forest Service for another class, so I'll probably get one next spring, but just so you know, that this is where they talk about that. But the thing that's interesting in here, that I have to find out more information about is, maybe it's not in this section. Yeah, it was chainsaws and crosscut saws. A crosscut is with 2 people around like a big, so they have a specific training requirement for that, but we don't do that. Everything else that we do is a single person saw. But in any case, there's, you know, we've been following this pretty as best we can. We've been trying to get trained, and Greg did that. He got me, you know, signed up for a class, and that was not a problem, and I've got my card. And then, but, you know, it only lasts for 3 years, so you gotta go back and get a reevaluation. So, but just so everybody knows that's a requirement, and that's why nobody else is supposed to touch the chainsaw out of the forest, so.
Sideline question,
Yes.
along with that. What kind of a first aid kit goes out with the chainsaw?
It's robust. I have like a tourniquet, you know, I upgraded it based on what they told me at the chainsaw class.
Yeah, now, you do know there's a new gauze out there that was developed by the
Yes,
military?
I've heard about that,
I
yeah.
think I would put that in as well.
I don't know, I don't think I have that in there yet. You know what
And I
I'm,
have that, and
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about that later, but
yeah, so, yeah, that's a good idea, and, you know, they were in, the guys at the Forest Service were really particular that you had a tourniquet. So we got tourniquets and put them in our kit. So, but yeah, that new technology, anything like that, yeah, we probably should do. The next page, page 8, is basically this thing goes through 2030, which is awesome. So it's a 5-year document, so we don't have to worry about it for 5 years. And you can see who signed it. The mayor signed it, and then the forest supervisor for the Bridger Teton, and then a grants specialist. So that's basically the agreement. Now, all this other stuff, you know, you don't need, if you want to, you can look and see how they did it. But basically what the Forest Service does is they have to document how much all this is costing. So they have their costs, which is their, for the Forest Service, for their personnel and any monies that they might spend, which they don't spend any. And then, and you'll see that, you know, they put some hours probably for supervision and mileage to come inspect the trails, because they're supposed to come and see on a rotating basis. They come, in fact, they did it last year, I think. They came and they went on a couple of the trails, and they look at the work you've done and make sure it's within their specs and all that, and they document it. So basically, there's a supervision requirement, and you can see that they allocated, I don't know, $10,000 or so for the Forest Service's side, and then it goes to our side, you know, and you'll see on our side, they basically used all the information I gave them, which was, you know, tools, tool repairs, stain, paint, spikes, bucks, poles, you know, you see all that stuff in our section, and it adds up to about $5,000 a year. And they just wanted some particulars, you know, and you'll note that the porta potties is pretty expensive, to keep them going at 2 locations. It's about $1,600 a year. And then the land rental agreement for Cedar Trailhead with the stewards. So yeah, so they document all this stuff in here, and you know, this is just a plan, and you know, we obviously spend more in some areas, some years than others, but at least they know what we're doing, if you know what I mean. And then on the next sheet, it shows, you know, we generally have been averaging probably over 1,000 hours of volunteer hours, and they have a number that they use for 3479, wherever that number comes from. That's how much they rate an hour for volunteers' work, and they come up with you know, $33,000 is what our volunteers are worth. And it, you know, and that's how. And I don't know what they do with these numbers, but they have to do all this stuff to make this agreement. People want to look at it, so that's what all those charts are about. And you can look at it at you know, and it's all in there, and it's no big deal. And they did get all that information from me, so I know that it's accurate.
well, people need to know too that $33,000, the cost of the work.
Of the work, yeah, it
not
quantifies what you're contributing to the forest.
Yeah, not
Which is
just
not, it's not a
Forest
bad
Service,
thing,
no.
it's just.
No, it's a good thing.
It's a document that they
Yeah.
use, and it's good for the town to
It's
see
good
it.
for
and-
everybody to
Yeah,
know.
so, then it goes to this next section, which is the scope of work. And this section I would probably read if I were you, if you have any, because there's a lot of stuff in here. Some of it, almost all of it, I would say 95% of it is all the stuff we've been doing, because Greg was all over this, and he taught me how to do all this stuff the correct way. So I didn't find anything glaring in here that jumped out at me, except if you see where the highlights are. So on the page 2 of the responsibilities, you'll see where it says they don't expect to get the next year's plan until 1st of May. We've always tried to get it done like in January or February, so we're ahead of the game there. there's a requirement to provide a list of all persons who will be performing trail work and new crew members when they are acquired. We've never done that before, so I'm gonna do that, but I have to ask Miranda how she wants that information.
No,
Because
if
we've
you
never,
send her a new list every week or something. that'd
well,
drive her
I'll have to
crazy.
send her one every time somebody signs up. But yeah, I'll just email it to her, it's no
Yeah.
big deal, because I document them and put them on my spreadsheet, and I'll just have to include that, but yeah, so that was different, and I had not noticed that before. And normally we use like the end of the year for our reporting to them. This document says that they want it by the November 30th, so I'll have to expedite my reporting to them, which is my formal end of year report. That was different. And you'll see, there's a bunch of stuff about construction standards, about how far you have to stay within the trail and avoid,
50 feet.
switchbacks, avoid straight lines, all that kind of stuff. So it basically outlines all the stuff that we've been doing for years. Page 3, this one is interesting because, and I haven't gotten an answer back from her yet. It says, perform a trail assessment and repair log every 2 weeks. Well, I don't know, I have never done that. And what I do is I maintain, everybody signs in when they do trail work. So I log on the sign-in sheet what we did that day. I'll put like 5 water bars constructed, trails raked from the trailhead to the spruce grove, and the bridge was stained, that kind of thing. And so I've been keeping it on the sign-in sheet, and that's how I go at the end of the year. I go back and do my annual report to the Forest Service. But so I don't have an answer back from her on if they have some formal form that they want filled out for this log, or if what I'm doing is acceptable. I don't know the answer to
Your
that.
summary can,
But that's the kind of stuff, like all of our sign-in sheets, that would be something you would keep for 3 years.
Yeah.
Because it has everybody's name and signature, who was there, what hours we worked, and what trail we worked on, and all the stuff we did. And so that makes sense. But I've never heard of this repair log, and we didn't use it when Greg was here either. So I'll find that out. I'll get that sorted out before next year. We're pretty much wrapping up for this year anyway. And then that's the agreement. So everybody's got your own copy, and you can read it if you want. But the good news is we finally got it, because now we're operating under a document that makes us legal.
We're legal now.
And we're not like hanging it out, is the way I look at it, okay? All right, so that was the agreement. The garage sale, that's your next update. Victor sort of covered this already, but you've got a sheet there that has a summary, what we made in 2025, and then since then we're already up to 2485 for our sales on next year's, which is a lot. We'll probably be over $3,000 before we get to next summer, so that's good. You can see what we sold, how much we sold it for, and all the stuff in black is still for sale. Okay? That's pretty straightforward. Everybody can look at that chart and
The German crystal, was that like a set of
set of goblets.
goblets?
It's like
it's a complete set, water stems, wine stems.
Okay.
sherbet glasses, I
Sherbet
think.
glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I might know somebody that,
It's a
We'll
We'll
lovely set.
we'll sell it cheap
But,
Okay.
it's.
to get it out of my garage.
It's the vintage design,
Yeah.
so the bowls are kind of.
I know
more
somebody who
but
collects.
they're really pretty.
okay, all right.
Yeah, if you can find somebody that
Yeah.
wants any of this stuff, just let me know, as Deb still markets it online. That's the garage sale.
You don't have the snow blower, but you'll stick that on.
I'll add it once we decide that we're really gonna sell it. I haven't talked to Larry about it, but yeah, I'm just waiting. I don't wanna sell his snow blower out from under him until.
I think he's run the other one up and down and up and down and up. and
He's
down.
happy with it?
Oh, I think he is.
Okay.
It took him a while, and the thing he would tell you if he were here is, there's no way in God's earth that thing would have ever run, because it had been dropped, and then it had been run into, and shear pins were sheared off, and all kinds of stuff. But, he likes a puzzle, so he got it going.
Good.
But,
So
yeah.
everybody remembers we got donated a nice Honda tracked snow blower, but it wasn't working. So, when Larry got into trying to fix it, and when we got it torn apart, he determined that, holy crap, this is a major project, and he loves a major project, so we weren't twisting his arm to do this, but, so what we sort of did is, because it was such a major project, is we said, if you can, cause it's a valuable machine, those things are like $3,000 when they're new, and, it wasn't new by any stretch of the imagination, but it was in pretty decent shape, other than mechanically, they'd screwed something up in the hydrostatic drive, so it wasn't working. So what we did is we said, you work on it, get it working, and he wanted to keep it, and I said, we can do that, and then we'll sell he has a nice, almost brand new Cub
Yeah,
Cadet.
it's 2 years old.
2 years old Cub Cadet, nice snow blower, and we're gonna sell that one, and, I'm just waiting on him to make sure that because he had to replace so many parts in this thing, I wanna make sure I'm not taking his only operating snow blower before I sell it out from under him.
No, but we don't want you to miss the sale,
No, we're doing okay, as you can tell, we're, to have 2 snow blowers sell in the same year, that's a lot of money, so, yeah, we got $750 for that one, and it was a nice machine, so that was a good sale. So, in any case, that's it on that. The trails update is pretty self-explanatory. Let me go through this. It basically lists how many days we worked on the different trails and trailheads, and then the work summary is the next sheet. So, if you start, everything in green, we've pretty much done. So the Knucklehead Rock Trail Stabilization, we've worked Murphy Creek side 2 times. We installed the logs on the north end of Vista Prater that we were planned on doing. We took out the 2 down trees that were 4 miles, actually 4.25 miles up Cedar Creek Trail. That was a 9-mile day, and it took us about, 10 hours to do that, to get those 2 trees. Both of the bridges were stained and painted. I have not gotten, so number 6, I haven't gotten Justin to flag the reroute of Prater Murphy and the parking on Prater Canyon Road. So that's, which I was expecting that to be a problem, he needs to come out, and he was so busy with the fire that that's almost impossible to get him out. So that's why that one's not done. Then you go to the cleanup items. Victor finished the plaque for Richard Minnick at the park, Fox Run Park, the bolts on the sign. We finished a rebar that was up above the meadow on Prater Murphy. We didn't put sackcrete in that sign in the saddle, but Alan went up there with a buddy of his, and they worked on it, and I'll call stabilized it, and it's not gonna fall over. So, prepping logs for Knucklehead, and we fixed the culvert on Cedar Creek Trail. The pipe was starting to show, and we installed the winter signs at Cedar, and I still have to put the winter snow poles up, and I moved the spraying of the knapweed to next spring. We're basically Cedar Trailhead is inundated with spotted knapweed, and we pulled all of it for 2 years, and after talking to Greg, I decided that was totally useless, because it spreads via the roots that you don't pull out of the ground, and it's gonna come back everywhere that I pulled it, it's gonna come back again. So next year, we're going to, luckily Cedar is not National Forest.
Oh, okay.
So we can spray there.
There was
It's town property.
There was an article 2 weeks ago, I think.
I saw
that? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sort of moved that to next year, because we're just gonna have to stay on top of the spotted knapweed, because you've been dealing with this stuff on Last Chance.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with that.
Do we need certification to spray that?
Not with the stuff they gave me, no.
It's a different, it's not Tordon anymore, it's some other,
What'd I say?
I can't remember what
I
it's
forgot what
called.
it's called now.
It's a different chemical,
Yeah.
so that we can try and see.
when I went down there probably about 3 weeks ago, it said a third of an ounce per gallon, but he said we can probably go up a little more than that third. He said get it a little hotter and then just spray it.
So we'll keep working on it, but the next page, let's see, we trimmed along the fence at Cedar Trailhead. We added a new sign at Fox Run Park that had been damaged, so I just put a new one up. We fixed the water bars on Cedar Creek Trail. I haven't brushed above the 2 mile point on Cedar Trail. I might do that this fall, but if not, we'll get it next year. And the pathways at Foxhorn Park is an issue, and I'll talk about it later when we get to the photos. I installed the grab handles at both of the potties, and I've got pictures of those in there. And then after I put them in, the guy that goes around in the bicycle, has MS.
Yeah.
That was one of the main reasons we put him in there. Yeah, he gave us feedback, and he said we probably need one more at each place. There's 2 installed at each place, and he said that you need another one in another place. So we'll probably get another set, which is probably $25, and add one at each place, just so you know. The dirt bike deterrence signage and bars will do next spring because we're pretty much out of that season now. And the boulders at the trailheads, same thing. And I'm not quite ready to go ahead with the signage at Cedar Creek Trailhead to stop the ATVs from spinning donuts yet, but because it's one of those things that's on town property. So when we get to the point where we design the sign and the verbiage on it, I gotta run it through the town to make sure if we put ordinances on there, or, you know, sometimes the signs, they reference ordinance, different ordinances, maybe like a vandalism ordinance or something like that. I wanna make sure that it's accurate before I have the sign made. So, but I'm still planning on doing it. We're at that point where it's gonna be snowy and, you know, they're not gonna do much more damage this year.
They spread their fun activity up to the,
It's
in front of the garden circles.
So when I do it, I'm probably gonna get one for there too.
I think that has to happen.
Yeah.
because- And then, you know, on their heads be it.
It sort of goes into and I didn't put it in here, but the signage and the speed bump issue that we talked about last meeting, that'll all go together. But I can't do that without coordinating with the town.
Oh, no.
So we won't do that this fall, we'll do it next spring, after we've had the winter to work on what do we really want to do.
Donut season is just about over.
Yes, but we made it through another year. Okay, so the pictures. The first one is today at Cedar Creek Trailhead, Knucklehead Rock. And you can see we've done a lot of work there. We've probably put in 8 or 9 logs and rock and barrier. Does everybody know which one I'm talking about? This one? This picture? Yeah. Just to give everybody an idea of what it looks like. And we have a few more pieces to the puzzle that we're gonna add, and we're gonna start planting wild rose bushes and some stuff like that. What else? What was the other one? Fireweed? Fireweed. We're gonna plant in that area because there's lots of tiered levels, and we want to get some natural stuff growing in there to hold the bank.
Like natural plants.
Natural plants, yes. And if you read the next page, this is from Eric, the hydrologist. He participated the first day we were out there doing all this work, and he's got a lot of ideas in here, and you know, he's interested, and he helped out a lot. So I thought I'd throw that in there because it's good knowledge, because he's looking at it from the creek side and giving us ideas on what needs to be buttressed. There's a couple places where he thinks a couple more logs need to go because of the way the water runs in the spring runoff, that kind of thing. So I just letting you know that the Forest Service is involved, and they're extensively involved because he's available, which is great to have a hydrologist come out.
You know, the Forest Service used to have a full list of plants and seeds and stuff that you put in to take care of that. Do they still have that?
I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to ask him.
Because I know we used to use that extensively in ski resorts and stuff.
I think they do, because they had told me that they were gonna make a Vail, or the I can't remember whether it's the association or Stewart's, reseed that area at Green Trailhead where they totally disturbed right next to our fence and that shed that's there, and they were supposed to reseed that. It hasn't happened yet, so I'm gonna be all over them next spring, because that'll be a weed haven there. Anytime you disturb the soil like that, that'll be terrible. So, but So that's the Knucklehead Rock stuff, is that photo, and that's where we are as of today, and then that's the stuff from him. And then when you go through all these pictures, you know, you've got that's a Knucklehead Rock from a week ago when we hadn't done the work we did today. And then these bottom two are Prater Murphy on the Murphy Creek side pictures. Then there's a picture of the log work on Vista Prater Trail. There's the big logs that we removed from the trail on Cedar Creek at 4 miles. And the two bridges that got painted and stained. The sign that we fixed up on the meadow. There's the Minnick Memorial placard with his, what is that, a fir tree, I guess you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a water bar construction, and then there's a picture of the size of logs we were using. These were pretty substantial logs. A couple of them it took 5 of us to move them. So we got better at it though. We started dragging them instead of carrying them. Then the culvert, trying to fix the culvert so that the soil isn't eroding away from the pipe. And then the next page, the Fox Run Park issues. So the picture there is all those weeds that are like right in front of the dog park. It's just unacceptable. I think you need to get the guy, our landscaper, to go in there and spray next week. It's still
Okay.
warm enough for him to spray, and we're paying him $50 an
Yeah.
hour. And
So just spray with-
I would go in and have them, because everybody's pretty much done with their crop circles. You know, I don't.
No, don't spray inside, I'll go.
No, not in the,
No, not
no,
inside.
not in there. This is by the
Around
dog, this is by the
oh, by
dog,
the dog park,
this is
yeah.
by the dog park. And,
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to get control of the weeds.
oh yeah,
And,
So-
you're right, it's not acceptable, it looks terrible, and it's just gonna be more and more trouble next.
yes. And it's particular to this area that's around the dog park and the crop circles. If you know, because I walk the regular Fox Run Park all the time, and we've got most of those weeds under control. There's a few places where there's grasses in the trail, but it's nothing compared to, like you see the picture here, that pathway that goes east-west is just full of stuff that needs sprayed. And if we don't do it now, it'll just come back with a vengeance in the spring.
A good time to spray though, I mean.
It's not the greatest, but it's still warm. As long as you're above 50 degrees, you can spray. You know, now it may not be as effective as what it was in July. But I can't hurt. And if we had the guy go out there for a couple hours,
Yeah.
spend
It's
couple $100,
We
So you
have,
have to spray like Roundup now, I think.
yeah,
Roundup
yeah.
is biodegradable and it's gone in 8 hours.
yeah. So there's nothing wrong with them
There's
spraying. We just
nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, and the other thing is, we have a responsibility as a group to deal with weeds.
Yes.
And there's going to sometimes not be congruence on weed management with pesticides and
herbicides.
and
Herbicide.
herbicides and
Yeah.
and other things. And it's our responsibility as a leadership group to take care of that and try to respect the sensibilities of people who don't appreciate that, but where is our duty? And I just asked that question. I don't know.
So
The answer to
I
that.
think the way to approach it is, I would have him do it, but I think you can wait, because it's supposed to get pretty chilly the next 2 weeks, but we always get warmer times.
Warm up again.
It'll warm up
Warm up.
again. And if it doesn't, then we'll do it next year.
Well,
But,
But I'll
that's
start
gonna be
looking
on
for
our
like
plan,
a
right?
couple days in the
Do it
above
now,
50.
do it next year, do it
Yeah.
evaluation every so many months and see what's growing. I walk down the lane here to Town Hall, around those things, down Canyon Pines Way. There's new thistle growing everywhere, and that, I don't remember what that flat plant that looks like kind of a pineapple plant squished. It's everywhere. We just can't have it, can't have
yeah,
it.
we just gotta stay on top of it. But in particular, Fox Run should look better than it does. And that's gotta be
If it's only gonna cost,
several $100s, you should do it,
can we
right?
make a motion that we contact him and that he go and spray, when it's appropriate?
Okay, so
Temperature wise?
next week, Tuesday through Friday, it's 60 degrees up to 65
So
all week.
that'll be
Yeah,
a good time.
yeah.
Cause it has to be about 50, right?
Yeah,
I'd leave, I don't know,
Yeah,
fif-
65.
yeah,
It would be
that'll
good,
work.
yeah,
It's
it'll
better, the warmer it is, the
oh,
better.
yeah.
Right.
And you're right, it's not gonna work as well as it does in the summer, but it's better than not doing it.
Yeah,
And we're not, I don't think we're wasting our money, it'll
No.
get some effect, you know?
Have them come along Main Street. Take the little hand sprayer.
All right, okay, so let me finish. These two pictures at the bottom, the markers for the nature trail in Fox Run Park, I've added like cairns on the bottom because they were getting to where you couldn't see them. Because the color, we painted them bronze so they would blend in.
Blend in.
And then certain times of the year,
They really blend in.
You just can't find them. So, I think I've done them all, but there's one of them that I can't find, which is number 10. So if anybody can find number 10, let me know.
Well,
Cause I've looked for it probably 15 times and I cannot find it. I'm thinking somebody took it. So we might have to have another one made to replace number 10. So I'm keeping an eye on, let's put it this way, I'm keeping an eye on it, so just so you know. Okay.
So they need to be repainted and then dug down in.
Well, they're rebar and they're hammered in, and they've been painted, they're not in bad shape. It's just that one of them I can't find. So I don't know whether it's missing in a bush, or somebody took it, or it fell over, but I've looked extensively, and so.
Number 10 is the sign.
Number 10, yes. Every other one is got the rocks around the base, it makes it a lot easier to see them now, so, just so you know. All right, I'm gonna skip the Cedar Creek Gate for now, and then go to the next page. You see two pictures of the handlebars the grab bars that we put in at Cedar and Fox Run Park. And then we're just gonna probably add one more at each place based on our feedback from the guy with the recovery
That guy's
bike.
name is Gavin.
His name's Gavin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then we go to the Fox Run Park. I've got three things. You can look at these pictures, but this station is Station 9. It's the dips, and none of this stuff that I'm talking about needs immediate attention because it's still pretty secure. It's usable, but it's showing some signs that need some attention. So if you look at the bottom of this Station 9, you can see where the screws have backed
Backing
out, and they're not even attached to those. There's some sort of a composite material that's used on those so that they last forever. And obviously the screws, so it's gonna require like an epoxy to put those screws back up in there so that they blend or hold, because it's not wood. You know, it's you know how with wood you might put a sliver of wood in there.
It's ruined enough.
Yeah,
Mechanically hold it.
yeah, but you can't do that because it's got on the top, you know, it's basically you'd be going up on the top of the bench that people lay on to do their.
Carrot
Exercise.
pole, you know, nice.
You could do that if you think it needs it, but it's one of those things where it needs attention. And Station 9 is one, which is the dip place, and that's what I took pictures of here. Station 7, we had pictures of it 2 years ago. It's got some of the planks, they cracked and broke, but they're still functional, but they're loose. So it's almost the exact same thing, Station 7 and Station 9. So I wanna put on the plan, somebody that's good with this kind of mechanical, which might be Phil, to take a look at them and see if it's gonna require anything new, so that we have to fund, or does it just require, you know, the right tools and to get them back to where they're secure.
How's is the pull-up bar still?
Yeah, that was my next one. So the pull-up bar. So for years, you know, the pull-up bar, kids were using a stump because the little kids can't reach there's two bars. There's the high bar and like a medium-sized bar. Well, they've been using a stump to stand on so they can get, like 8, 10-year-old kids. And I sort of came to the conclusion, because the stump has eventually rotted away and it's not functional anymore, I would like Victor to come up with a stoop, a very structure that they can stand on so kids can use the pull-up bar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I got a stump we can use.
Yeah, but I figured it's time to make it more,
It's like this.
make it more formal,
Okay,
like something that's maybe more secure
All
and
right.
not as dangerous as doing a stump. And we'd leave it there and have it be out of pressure-treated wood,
oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? And it wouldn't cost that much.
No.
I can't imagine, maybe make it really substantial. But I just thought, there's so many more people going out there, and you see a lot of kids, that it would be good to make it so they can get up and do the pull-up bar.
Make it safe.
Yeah, and make it safe, and so you're not using a log chunk that somebody breaks an ankle, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I just think we should do it more
Okay.
formally.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
no, that's not, we can do that.
Okay, so the last couple of pictures. So the dirt bike, that's the dirt bike sign that I'm getting 4 of, that I'm gonna use for the trails where we're having problem with dirt bikes. And we're gonna probably put it on like a 4x4 post, but a short, because it's only gonna need to be used in the summer. And then it'll be adjacent to whatever mechanical bar we put to try to deter the dirt bikes from going up the trails, like we talked about at the last meeting.
Yeah,
So, and then go back to the cedar gate. Couple of things on the gate. So these signs will be in probably the beginning of next week. So the big sign is the one that's gonna go right in the center of the gate, the road closed for winter conditions. It's basically gonna be mounted right in the center of the gate, so when it's closed, it's obvious. And then I got a bunch of these 4x4, they're called delineators, and I'm planning on adding them to the posts. There's 4 posts, and I'm gonna make sure that they've all got something that's reflective, so somebody doesn't accidentally hit them. And we can play around with where we put them when we get out there, but, then the last thing was when Greg was here, he recommended, and the more I've watched it, I agree, that all of the stuff that's there, he recommends we paint it all the same color as the Harold P. Stewart sign, which is that brown latex, that we've painted all the Cedar Creek trailhead stuff, because it'll blend in better. That was one of the reasons I got these reflectors, because he said it sticks out too much now, it doesn't look good. And I said, yeah, you're right. So what's your thoughts on painting? You okay with that?
yeah. We have the stain out there, the dark stain.
Well, it's a paint, actually.
paint?
It's a latex. Yeah, all of these, like these structures, this sign, the kiosk at Cedar, the sign that says the trailhead, Cedar Creek Trailhead, right out on Cedar Creek Drive, all of that's done with that brown latex. So I was just gonna paint them all the same color so it would all blend together. Anybody think that's not good, or
No,
think of a
because-
reason not to do that? No? Okay. So yeah, so to finish this up, the big sign goes on, I'm gonna put these delineators on, and paint all the stuff brown so that it sort of blends together. It's already got a chain and a lock on it, and then I've got 9 keys, I think, and I'm gonna do probably a formal log sheet to show who has a key. And, obviously the Forest Service will get one, Stewart's will get one, and, Trevor was gonna check to find out if, the search and rescue / county sheriffs wanted one. And then there'll be obviously SMO, the town, and then, the trail crew will obviously keep a key to get in this gate. So that'll be the last thing. We'll make sure the keys are all distributed prior to us closing it. And then we're not gonna close it probably till, I don't know, middle of November to middle of December,
December,
when
yeah.
the snow gets deep enough. Okay? All right, any questions on all that stuff? No? Ambassadors is the next topic. I had a meeting on 18 September with, the Forest Service was supposed to participate, but it was mainly me and the Friends of the Bridger Teton and Chuck. He used to be the head, the Grays River Collaborative head, but he's just on the Grays River Collaborative now. But and we had a long discussion about the ambassador issue. Okay, and then the Friends of the Bridger Teton is coming to the Travel and Tourism Board on the 8th of October and to the Town Council meeting on the 14th of October. So let's see. Everybody knows they had one ambassador that they hired that stayed at down at Grover Park, right? And the big emphasis was to figure out what's going on at Grover Park. And then he came up, and I think he spent 5 days at our trails, working with the trail crew and checking stuff out and helping out. And then we had the two interns from Pinedale that came over and did the Friends Forts. They actually came over one day of training, and they did trail work for a day with us, with the crew. And then they came back 3 times and did their Friends Forts, twice at Cedar and once at Green. So we got pretty good coverage from these guys for the summer. And it was sort of a learning process, and I think the biggest feedback that we got from Friends of the Bridger Teton at this meeting was, I want to make sure I don't say something I'm not supposed to say. The Grover Park is the Wild West, and later on when we talk about the Grays River Collaborative, there's a process that they're going to go through, but they're going to go through a process that's formal and extensive, like $75,000 grant to have a plan done by somebody that formally does, and so it's like a big deal. But in the interim, it's the Wild West.
You mean over Grover?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's some of the same stuff we had at Cedar until we got control of it with fencing, signage, blah, 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 and we didn't have any trouble once we got control of it. I was surprised. I thought, we had all these people that used to go into that pond and camp, ATV, shoot, and all that stuff went away, and we never had any I think they all went to Grover Park. But just in general, the ambassador that was at Grover Park, he got an eyeful. And so we got a lot of information, and not a lot of it's not good. But I think the answer is they're gonna have to have this formal process, but it's gonna take 3 years probably for them to do that. And then it's like, okay, whatever, we wouldn't like that because we like to get stuff done, but they're trying to do it in a formal process. So in the interim, from the Friends of the Bridger Teton, what it sounded to me like, this is my opinion of what they were saying, is they think that it's okay to have an ambassador down there to gather data, but I don't think they're really comfortable having them down there, living down there, because of the there were times when there was shooting going on at night, and near the camper where the ambassador was staying, that kind of stuff, and they don't know where it's coming from. So it's an issue, and so I think the way they're looking at it is they would rather have more of the focus, if they're going to support ambassadors, to be in our area. And I told them, well, you could have them stay at the RV park. They could fund a slot, because these ambassadors usually come with a camper, a trailer or whatever, and that's what they live in. And you would just have to fund the fee for them to be in the RV park, and then they're close. And the other thing we talked about was you're trying to define what they do, because I told them, Grover needs people down there but they almost need a law enforcement ambassador, somebody that can be there full time and be enforcing rules. And this guy didn't have the ability to do that, so all he's doing is gathering data. So in general, for the ambassador thing, they're going to come and talk to the Travel and Tourism Board and also to the town council. And I think what they're gonna try to, do is move the ambassadors more in our area, because they like the fact that we have control, and they can deal with us, and there's some organization, and they don't have to be worried about their ambassador getting harmed like they might in Grover. And when there's just no, it's the Wild West. So, and when we were talking about this, the thing we were talking about is, well, what are we gonna do with them if they're spending more time here? And we would do some of the same things, having presence at the trailheads and the Friends Forts or whatever, that kind of stuff, just for visibility and handing out swag and all that kind of stuff that those guys do, which is good for public interface, especially around holidays and all that. That's really good for them to do. But then we started talking about it. We said, well, it would be really good for them to do other things, because there's other things that these guys, if you've got a dedicated ambassador or two ship of ambassadors, which is preferred, on occasion you send them out on the trails, and they're giving you sort of like what we do, because I get all my feedback. Like I just had a hiker message me on Facebook that there was a downed tree on Vista Prater Trail like 3 days ago. It was a big downed tree across the trail, and that kind of stuff. If you've got people constantly going out on the trails, you get feedback and you can keep stuff under control. So we talked about that, and we talked about them possibly getting involved in some of the weed control, because I had the two interns from that came out for the Friends Fort. When they weren't busy, I had them doing weed control at Cedar Creek Trailhead. I just asked them, I said, hey, would you guys mind pulling musk thistle and spotted knapweed all around there? And they had a whole truck full by the time we got back from trail work that day. So we could ask them to do anything that's related to trailheads, and like we get, particularly Cedar Trail has a lot of musk thistle. And we've got Prater Canyon under pretty good control, but there has been some, but we can use them for that kind of stuff. So they can support other things besides just being a howdy-doody greeter at the trailhead, which is not, we talked about it, and I said that's good on occasion, especially on our busier days, but they're gonna be bored on a Tuesday at Star Valley Ranch out at the trailhead. So that might be a day where they go out and explore a certain trail and give us a report back on conditions and how are we doing, and that kind of stuff. So to make a long story short, you have a history of what these guys did this year. They're gonna come back and propose, I think, I don't want to speak for them, but they're gonna propose a different approach next year, more focused on our end of the valley instead of Grover, because I think they're gonna try to let that process with the big huge project go, and I think they're worried about safety down there is what they're really worried about. But
Well, utilization is better up here.
it probably would be. The need is more down there, because we have ours under pretty good control, because we have so many volunteers that are hiking all the time that we get good feedback. But we could, when we started talking about it, we said you can use them for other things. You could do like invasive weed stuff. And I'm constantly dealing with invasive weeds on the trails, and they'd be perfectly suited for that.
They could maybe do a little talk.
Yes.
Once a month.
So for another one that we talked about is, like I said, well, they could go to they could set up their booth or whatever at the farmer's market and
Well,
talk.
that in August and September.
And they could also be there for the garage sale.
For the garage
So
sale,
there's
and-
a whole bunch of stuff so and the Friends of the Bridger Teton, they're perfectly okay with all that. Their whole thing is, if you get bodies, it's not, they don't want them to be just totally focused on they're sitting at a trailhead and talking to people. They can do, like, they did a bunch, the two that came here for the interns, they did all sorts of weed projects on other parts of the forest this summer for the Forest Service. So that, I think that's not abnormal. I just think they're trying to figure out, what do we do with these ambassadors, and they want to get some visibility in our valley is what they're really trying to do.
I think that the activity occurs here.
Yeah.
The need maybe is down in Grover, but.
So what, so in that light, what we sort of came up with was we'd have them be here because the Friends of the Bridge or Teton would be way happier, they're safer at the RV park. And then we would have them still go to Grover, but they would get data collection runs. So like,
Not staying down
once a day or once every other day or on weekends, whatever, they would go down and do like, how many campers, how many, ATVs, check the trails, who's shooting, all that kind of stuff, and log it and then come back. So they're not living in the middle of it, where they seemed like they were really, he was, yeah, I think
They
he
could
had.
help with the native planting program.
Yes,
for-
you could do, there's a lot of
All
things they
kinds
could
of
do.
stuff.
Yeah, so we could get involved and definitely have some interaction with them, which is good. So that's what's going on with the ambassadors, just so
Okay,
everybody knows.
just
Yeah,
a
go
quick,
ahead.
so about a month ago, somebody here in town knows about, they're trying to do this thing down in, the park down there. And he says, the problem is, you have families that been doing this for decades.
Yeah.
And you're gonna try to roust them out of their spots? He says, that's not gonna go over very well.
Yeah, but they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it.
They're gonna, they need to do it.
Because
Because it's on the
Grover Park's
forest.
like you said.
It's just, they're gonna have to come up with a good
If
plan.
they're gonna pay out big money for a formal park design and implementation,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to move those people out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they just need to get control, and I think people will like it better, because if they control the ATVs so that they're not blasting dust all over the campers, and there's that kind of, you've gotta get control of it, or it's just the Wild West. And then some people have fun and a bunch of people are not happy, so I don't know. It was a big topic of a discussion at the collaborative, so I'm hoping that they will, they're gonna get there, so.
Okay.
All right. We already talked about the erosion update on Cedar Creek, the Foxburn Park issues we talked about, the collaborative. I gave you basically this is the agenda from the meeting. Did everybody get the dashboard I sent out?
Yeah.
That thing is fabulous. It basically you can find out what the forest, on our forest, what they're doing for, timber. There's three things: timber, fire control of fuels, and silvation. I think is that the it's basically reforesting and adding trees and tree health. And that, like when they go in and they'll take a section and they'll cut out like the subalpine firs so that the aspens will grow. That kind of stuff. That tree management on the forest, and that dashboard that she designed is fabulous. So you can go in there and you can see everything that's going on a real-time basis. They update it constantly, and you can see where stuff, if it's in our area or not in our area, and it's a really good tool. And but if you look at what we were talking about, I'll give you a quick summary just because it was actually interesting. So the ranger, which is Justin, he was there. He pretty much talked about the fire, because that's what they've been doing for 3 months. And it sounds like they're pretty much wrapped up. And the only thing that was really good was they had done a bunch of fire fuels mitigation right along the highway down there at the pass. And they said they had a huge positive reaction from the fire when it got to what they'd done. So they basically, it was sort of like a test case for all that fuel reduction. In fact, they had done the fuel reduction and they hadn't burned the piles yet. So they had it all piled up in the forest, like you see you guys have seen it in Cedar Trail. But when it got to that section, the fire didn't spread as fast. It basically, it really could help them control the fire from crossing over 89. So that was the gist. So there's a real impetus there's real reasons to do that kind of fire-wise stuff, which they're doing all the time. The national update was the discussion about the Forest Service. They're just totally restructuring and trying to get rid of the regional offices, and they had a huge reduction in bodies. I mean, he thinks the reduction was like 7,000 was the number he used total, people that left the Forest Service because of the budget, and they gave them the early outs, and they got rid of the probationary people and all that stuff. So that it was not, yeah, that part was not very positive, because it's hard for them to get stuff done when they don't have anybody to do it, which we understand, because now there's no trails guy at the forest like there was, the last couple of years. Couple of interesting things that came out of this. This guy, the Salt River Watershed guy, I can't remember if he was Trouts Unlimited or somebody like that. There's all sorts of people in there that are not Forest Service. There's one guy that I think was Trout Unlimited, but they were doing a watershed study up in Tin Cup, and it was fascinating. Have you guys, anybody's driven up Tin Cup? You've seen all those posts in the creek?
Yeah.
That was these guys doing. They did 3 different tests, and
Artificial beaver dams.
they're trying to help the beavers. They're trying to help the beavers build their dams better. It goes back a long story, but basically it sounds like 20, 30 years ago, somebody came up with a grand idea to spray and kill the willows or something like that, and it screwed up the streams. So what ends up happening is all that watershed where all the water is, it goes away, and now all the water goes into a channel, and it rushes really fast, and the beavers their dams get washed out. And then what you end up with is water entering the salt, which is totally silted, and it's not healthy for the fish. And so what they're trying to do, which is really fascinating, is they did 3 different studies and tests. One of them was the one on the Tin Cup, where they had all those posts to try to help the beavers out. And that one, it was partially successful, but it wasn't real great. They still had too much force from the water coming down, and it tore a lot of them out. So they weren't real positive on that, the way they were done. But they did another one where they used some excavating machinery, and they did some excavating on the corners of the creek, and that one turned out really good. And then there was another one where they did a bunch of log construction to help out the beavers, and that one worked really good. But it was fascinating to listen, and he showed a lot of pictures about how, and the bottom line is they showed pictures of that watershed 10 years ago, 15 years ago from above, and they killed all the stuff, and essentially what it does is all the water goes into a narrow channel, and where it should be spread out and getting filtered. And what they're trying to do is they've got people that are actually going out and doing this stuff to try to help the beavers come back and get it so that there's dams, slows the water down, and the water quality is better. And it was actually good news.
And
So,
the willows regrow.
and the willows regrow, and
They use teams of horses up high.
Oh, yeah.
To get their logs up in there.
so that was cool. So it was good that somebody's doing that. And then they talked about the timber. They're trying to do timber, and there's all sorts of stuff about timber. They'll go into like these fire locations, and they'll try to recoup timber. They'll get people to buy. There's certain sections where it's charred but not just destroyed, and they'll try to get a contract to get people to come in and at least make some use of it instead of just letting it be destroyed. So that was interesting. Then the dashboard, everybody that got a copy of that, you saw what the dashboard was, and that's just a really cool tool. There's a lot of, all of this, they talked about all the roadside treatments. That's basically weeds and fire stuff, where they're going in along Grays River Road and up in Murphy Creek. They're doing they have all these plans for managing the forest, which is actually pretty cool. So that you can see all these timber sales, habitat improvement. That's in place. The Grays River Habitat Improvement is where they're going in and they're cutting fir trees so that the aspens will grow, because that's the area is up on Middle Ridge, and they want the aspens to grow because they've been overtaken for some reason, something that somebody did way back when, and that's where the pronghorns and the elk, used to be just totally predominant, and they eat the young aspen trees. So they want the aspens to come back, so they're doing that kind of stuff, which is really cool. And then the Grover Park Master Plan, I think they said they were, it's a 2-year process. They're gonna start, they were gonna do it this year, but they ran out of time for this. It's an NFF grant. Anybody know what NFF stands for? National Forest Fund or something like that. And that's the one where they're gonna try to get this 75,000 is the maximum you can get from them. And they're gonna hire a master planner, and they said they'll go back to try to get this grant in July of next year. So and we discussed all the stuff that they're heading for there. What else did I learn? There's a mountain bike Star Valley, a 501c3 that's developed. The mayor of Thane is sort of heading this up, and they're trying to build mountain biking trails over on the Caribou side, out of Schwab Creek. Everybody know where that is? It's a road that goes up into the Caribou, but that was cool. And that was about it. So there was a bunch of stuff, but yeah, that's the Grays River Collaborative. Roofs for our potties.
They're coming, now I'm back.
You're back. Do you need help, or are you just gonna try do
I
the construction in your shop?
Yeah, I'm gonna just do the construction and just go,
Out of metal?
no, we're gonna,
Oh,
There,
wait, didn't,
no, you were gonna do,
I'm bored of
Wood,
wood,
and then- but
and we're
metal
gonna
roof,
put a
right?
metal roof on top of that.
and you're using
Got the metal
Bennett's
roof, yeah.
red metal. He had
it's
left,
not red, it's brown.
no,
Well, whatever, it's
whatever
metal.
it is, whatever,
Yeah.
it's metal, it's
It's-
brown or
Yeah.
whatever.
So spare
We use it out
stuff,
of our backyard,
Yeah,
yes.
it's
Okay,
spare.
yeah.
It's free, we don't have to pay for it, right?
It's free.
Okay,
get it out, right? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, wood and then the metal on top.
okay, so
Yeah.
you're,
I'm gonna build it in my, and then
Okay.
probably when I get to go, I'll ask for help to,
to install.
yeah, and install, yeah.
Okay, cool, all right, so we're working there. I already talked about the no dirt bike signs, the seasonal gate, we talked about everything. The only one thing I didn't mention was the town notification, the mayor wanted to make sure that before we lock the gate, that there's something put out, like an email put out, it's in the town newsletter, when we notify the sheriff and everybody, like in when we open and close it, so, we'll have to come up with a plan for that, but that's a couple months off, so. And then the annual report, I'll get that done by 30 November instead of the end of the year. Okay, that's all my stuff.
Okay, now for old business, I guess,
Yeah.
old business, yeah.
So, the, issues inside my report are really not, relevant at this point. On page 1, about the water system. And so I wrote an anecdotal note, with a summary of what's happened so far. And part of my thinking on this is that I needed some clarification on, back in the old days, how we talk to people in town administration is different than it is now. There's a new public works, there's a director level, there's a town administrator, we have very good, or clarified roles of reporting, accountability, and responsibility. So I needed to understand that a little more, and who's supposed to do what, when, and how we speak to each other. And as a result, I thought about this for a long time, but the truth of the matter is, for this group and Trails, but NRB in particular, we serve at the pleasure of the town. We don't work our own agenda. We collaborate with the town, And we have goals, expectations, and plans that are often in conflict with what the town has the ability to pay for, has the ability to do on, and sometimes we just have to wait because it's not gonna happen the way we want it to happen. And that is specifically about the water issue at the main entrance. So, on the 11th, I had a meeting with Trevor, and the purpose of this was to clarify water issue at the main entrance, lines of communication, NRB to the town and vice versa, and who does what, when, timelines and costs, and finally, and really kind of the takeaway message out of this discussion was the wishes of the town. So, Victor was sent a summary of a meeting that Trevor had with Zach about what could be done. And long story short, we are not going to have water down at the main entrance. Back in the day, there used to be something there, and I suppose we could get out a water witch stick and go down and figure out where there used to be water, but it's too expensive.
In relation to that, the water that was down there at the entrance in the past was coming out of an illegal meter
Yeah.
that now belongs to somebody else.
Yeah,
In order to put water in down there, at the size that it's gonna have to be, you're gonna lose trees due to the size of the hole that has to be dug, and the underground equipment, wires, lines, etc. that are down there. That was one of the things you guys asked me to check into
Yeah.
at the last meeting.
well, he did quite a nice job. The meter pit could be dug, but it's gonna cost $7,500, and they can't do it. Plus, there's a 12-inch water line down
Yep.
there,
And
that
there's
if for
electrical
any reason
wires.
it gets broken, water's everywhere, floods, that runs the town. The water hydrant belongs to this guy named Dave Allred, and we can't use it.
Dave owns the water meter.
Yeah, he owns a water meter, and, the sprinkler system is not a go because it requires maintenance, blowing out the line, yada, all of that stuff.
Relating to your sprinkler system, the driveway coming into the parking lot cut everything. The only way you're going to get water down from here, down into there, is to bore some kind of a hole underneath that driveway, bring it out the other side. and
15,000 or more.
Yeah, I was just, you don't wanna know how much that's
And,
gonna cost.
the trees would be lost, at least 2, maybe 3 trees down at the main entrance. I'm not in favor of that. So, long story short, and that whole business of, well, we can get the water tank and we can water that, it's not practical. It's useful, and in an emergency, in a severe drought maybe, but on a practical reality for the summertime, it's not useful. Trevor, let's see, said that he was interested in the xeriscape idea that we originally had, and he didn't say proceed with that, but he really emphasized how much easier it would be and for the town and for us if we proceeded with that, and that would have to be on the north side. We'd have to wait on the south side till next spring to complete that. And he really, and the town really wants our input on what to do around here. And want our input, our emphasis to be directed in that way. At least that's how I understand that. Is that what you understand, Victor?
Yeah,
Okay.
but around here, you mean?
Yeah.
Around the town hall.
Town hall, yeah.
Now, there is water around the town hall, or at least a meter that you can get
Yeah.
access to, so you can do whatever is there. Now, a couple of the things you asked me to check into is on what does the town own on both sides of the main road coming in? Just barely behind the trees.
So
About
the
the extent
easement
of it.
is this way towards the road.
Yep. So it's that 30-foot easement that goes along by the sides of the road and it ends up just behind the trees.
Larry measured that here a while back,
Yeah.
so.
The other thing that you wanted me to look into, you already dealt with the water system on that one. Around Town Hall, the question came up, does the town have money to landscape around Town Hall? It's not in this year's budget, but in April of next year, the next budget will be started being put together. So if there's some kind of a design and or potential cost, that could be put into the town budget. But we'll have to go through that process.
Well, I think also what was brought up was around Town Hall and
That area is still up
over
in the
there.
air.
And, you know, I need to see it better, because I got the master plan, I asked for it to be copied. But I need to see, what is the fire department responsible for over there?
Basically, it's a building.
Just the building, they don't, so the weeds and all of that stuff up around and all of that, that is not their job.
No.
Okay, well, that's very helpful because the discussion also included, you know, like a phase 1 town hall, phase 2 over there, the master plan for that space.
Now, keep in mind that if you're gonna do the master plan over around, on that area, around the first response center, the road that's on the north side that goes down, it's gonna be eliminated. One's gonna come in on the east side, go up by the golf course, and back to the pump house.
Well, this is just mine. The priority is this, then this, and then whatever time is left over, and if we're asked for input, and mind you, we have not been formally asked, that. But what we can manage is down at main entrance.
Yep.
We can help with this, with the town hall plan, because we do have water, and we can do some plantings, if that's available. But we have we have Fox Run Park, we have stuff at Canine Commons, we have the weeds. So we, all of us need a master plan and a timeline. But no more discussion, we can't have any more discussion about water because that's just not ever gonna work. I don't think. Now, if the rest of this board wants to spend, you know, upwards of all of that money, then, you know, I'll tell you right away, I will be against it and vote no, but that would be the consensus of the board.
Yeah, you will lose trees if you go ahead with that one. So I'm not sure where you wanna be on that piece. The other thing on your number 3 piece, that area over there, that is being debated in workshop meetings right now because the town property goes up the hill. So that's a bigger area than just the flat down on the bottom.
Oh,
So there are a whole bunch of other options and opportunities. And we, frankly, my position at the moment is I'm advocating that we do what's known, what we used to call as land banking. Put a sprinkler system in, get some reasonable dirt on it, put grass on the darn thing, and see what the heck it's used for.
over there,
Yeah.
not here.
Over there. And then evaluate that and see what comes out of it.
Well, but the issue in front of us now is, there are some logistical problems with proceeding down there. We have to, if we're gonna try to get it done this fall, and I don't know that that's a possibility, really, but, we have to order the rock, we have to have it delivered, we have to, put, medium boulders, you know, about this size, every so often to protect the edge. if we don't do the rock layer this fall. And then Craig brought up snow poles, and so I talked to Zach yesterday, and Larry has a rock drill that will drill 12 inches. Zach suggested that the poles be about 18 inches. I don't know how, but we need to put those poles in down there. But he's also kind of indicated he didn't know how much value that would be, but all well with the snow plows. So those are the things immediately that we have to decide about what to do down there.
Well, I think, will we still have water on the other side or no?
We can have that water, that's
Yeah.
from LVI, and it's.
So could we do
it's-
a combination of things? Could we do zero
Well,
scaping on
I
that side?
think
And
we
then-
can keep the south side the way it is.
Yeah.
And we can do zero scaping on the north side.
Yeah,
And I don't see a thing wrong with that, if it's carefully done and the big rocks that we want to put in are chosen very nicely. You could put flat rock, I mean, there's
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff to do down there. But we ain't gonna get water.
well, that's,
Oh, we know that
but
now.
that's okay.
And that's okay. I'm fine with zero
Right,
scaping.
yeah.
Because I think it's cost effective, it looks nice, it's not like, you know, like it used to be.
Right.
It looks very pleasant, it is,
And we'll still have flowers on the
and
other
we'll
side.
have flowers on
Yeah.
the other side
So that's
and water. Nobody has said we can't have water, so.
Would this Allred guy, would he sell us water on a
No.
monthly basis?
Well, and it is not feasible to work out an agreement to pay for water off this meter, accounting problems as well as operating. This is from the town administrator on 29/11. So I think we just have to give up on that.
Yeah.
Technically, from a contractual point of view, you could contact Dave Allred and see if he will enter into an agreement with you to use water off that meter and keep the town out of it.
Well,
But are we part of it?
Yeah, I know, see,
we're
that's,
part of the town,
Yeah,
and the
that's
town
what I'm s-
administrator said, that's a direct quote from his.
Yeah, what he's saying is splitting the bill up. What I'm saying is Allred could split the bill up somehow, one that this group would agree with, that would come back to you guys.
I think that just seems like too much. I mean,
Okay?
I'm fine with the zero scape. My parents live in St. George and beautiful area all over the place.
I
with
zero escaped in Florida, and my place is zero escaped right now.
Mhm.
I like the idea of zero scaping. I think it looks nice. It will solve a variety of problems. It's not what we wanted, but it's what we can have. And a zero scape, if it's properly done down there, is gonna look much
Yeah.
better than what it did.
Yep.
But, you know,
And if we did the rock work and all that this year, then we could still add yuccas and stuff next.
planting
Next
next
spring.
spring.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think it has to
Okay,
look like a desert.
now, what if we don't do anything? Well, and after the snow, make sure we got the poles around there pretty good. Would that throw off, would the fabric would still be there, right, after snowfall and all that?
Well,
So what would happen if we didn't do anything, we
But we
just,
don't have to do a thing, we can do it next spring and just make sure the snow poles are there. to
that's the
remind
main
people.
concern there.
And, I was thinking we could put medium, you know where there's the little curve, you could put these medium boulders there every so often to just hold everything down, but, you know, if it's pretty sturdy, why do we have to do anything?
Yep.
But,
I've got a section on my place where I've done some zero escaping on top. I've still got the ground cover screen down below. I'm on 2 years now and it hasn't moved. But yay much is all rock on the top side.
I don't know, what's your pleasure?
Well, we're running out of years, out of the year here, so.
Yeah, that's,
I would think, myself, let's make sure we get the snow poles up and at least a foot, oh, I don't know how many feet away from the fabric, at least a foot or 2 feet. I don't know if they can do that, see what the road looks like. But right now, I think that might be our best idea.
Larry is happy to help do it with the drill if we think
If,
10 inches or 12 inches will stick.
well,
the
if not, we
sticks.
can rent something that'll go to, what's it, 18 inches or 2 feet?
That's what Zach said, 18 inches would be best.
We can do that and then
Yeah.
have them install the poles. Do they have the poles or?
They
do-
have everything, and we could have as many as we want.
No.
And you're thinking, I was thinking both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so, yeah.
Now, the way I'm putting my snow poles in is with rebar. A 2.5 foot piece of rebar, sharpened on one end, and I got a 9-pound hammer. And it goes down 18 inches relatively quick.
Well, if that,
And if you went down 12 inches with the drill and then the other 6, 3 bar, you still got
that way,
that.
it would be
But
fine.
we'd have to look to see what type of snow pole they have.
Larry I checked on Larry's behalf, and, the snow poles are an inch in diameter, so that's what,
Are they hollow?
That's, are they hollow?
See, they're different than mine then, because mine are the regular ones that are about 1/4 inch in
they're
diameter.
the ones that they use around town. So we can go look at their snow poles, we can
Never seen them use
calculate
it.
the number.
I don't, where do they use them?
I've never seen them.
Snow
I don't know,
poles?
Trevor said we can have all we want, and they're down there.
That's why, because they don't use them.
Yeah, they're not using them.
No, wait, are they the ones they put on the electrical boxes?
That's the size
No.
mine are.
No, those are LVE does those.
Oh.
The utility does those
Okay.
Our,
to protect their
Right,
boxes.
so the next step would be you want me to go down, find out about the poles.
And let me know when you go, because I like to go also.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that, and we could go together, then we can decide the, number and how far apart, if there's some regulation, I have no idea. And then Larry can help install, but we'll need to get that done by the 22nd of October.
Because that's when you guys leave.
After that, yeah. But are
Okay,
we in agreement on xeriscaping?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
believe so, yes.
Okay.
Oh, we have no water, so
Yeah.
we have no choice, basically.
And are we in agreement that we'll defer the rock ordering and all of that stuff till next spring?
Yes, anyway, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, what do you think, Bill? I know you're gonna be busy with your house.
See, he's gonna be busy next year. I think you should do it this year.
Well, I know, but we can't.
Why? Why can't we?
Yeah, who would choose the rocks, the big boulders? Where do we go to?
We have to
A
go
veil or
someplace.
something?
We have a landscaper here,
Yeah,
can we not
let's
use
get
his
the guy.
skills?
Now, supposedly, Forest Service has got a place, or either Forest Service or BLM, where you can go get your own rocks, but now you got a transportation problem.
We need
No,
them
we have the
delivered.
money, we can pay somebody to come and bring the rock to us. And, and if we're gonna do the rock, it has to be nice looking rock, not that stuff that's around here, that's on the driveways and everything like that.
Someplace up in the
And
hills.
out there.
They're doing it.
And so,
Well, I like the idea of Phil just taking it. Just do it, just run with it.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me. I think if you're not gonna have more time right now and.
Yeah,
have
you
a
could,
feel
you could
for
at
what
least
we
go
want.
find out what's available rock-wise,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yep, I could do that.
Because
And we can always have an
I've
interim
had some
meeting
issues
to make a
with getting
decision.
certain
Yeah.
colors and things.
What,
Yeah.
what color rock are you looking at?
well, they're kind of, golden,
Okay.
washed river rock that will look with.
No, I mean the big ones.
Oh, big, like two
No.
or three, ones that, and the issue is what you choose and how to position them.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking, there's a guy building a house just one street up from mine, and all of a sudden, almost looks like lava rock, because it's that
Was it
color.
really pretty
But it's-
darker rock?
But it's this big, I mean, they got some big stuff. I have no idea where they came from, but there's a guy, contractor, working on it.
And where-
He could
where's
probably
that
tell
at?
you. It's on Aspen Way, just intersection
Oh.
of Aspen Way and Pine.
I know where that house is,
Yeah, you see those big rocks that all of a sudden showed up?
Mhm. See, I would think we'd want, a kind of a flatter, rounder rock and some tall, to break it up, and, something that would collect water, look really nice in the wet, you know, when it rains.
So right now,
Let's get him.
let's start looking just to get rock, the basic, I'm
Yeah.
not saying about the boulders yet,
Yeah,
but the,
I'm with you, because
I
you're
don't
gonna be
know.
gone too.
yeah.
You know a guy by the name of Rick Norton?
I-
Mm.
I'm,
He's over on North Middle Branch Circle. When you go in the circle, there's a cabin there with a star on it, with a garage there, and another one. He's the one who was telling me about it. He's got some rocks in his yard.
And do the boulders next year.
the boulders next year in the wash rock.
And
So-
one you probably want to talk to is Judy, that's his wife, because she's the one that
Maybe what we
drives
do
the whole
is
thing.
get idea about the rock, figure out the snow poles, and leave the boulder selection to next year.
Yeah,
Yeah, because if we find the rocks, I have a guy that can transport them.
Okay.
That shouldn't
okay,
be a
let's
problem.
work with that then, so we can get that done this year.
So,
And if you need like, okay, this is gonna cost $5,000 to get all this done or whatever.
Just let me know.
We can have a temporary
Temp-
meeting, can't we?
Or we can have an online,
Meeting
vote
to approve
online.
we can
that.
vote online.
Yeah.
Everyone,
you
yeah.
can have a voice meeting.
And if you need help raising it out, or if it gets lowered,
Okay,
just let us all
we'll
know.
get everybody there
Yeah.
to lift it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no problem. I'll come.
I've done it in the past, and the rock stayed
Okay,
right
let's-
where it fell off.
Okay, so when, you'll do that, and then, let's see, we're already now gonna almost be in the middle of the month, so when should we hear back?
I'll work on it this week.
Okay,
all right, let's work with that.
so does that need a motion?
We're just gathering info right now.
Yeah, oh yeah, and then when we go, and then be an online vote, and,
Okay.
okay. Okay,
That's all I have.
okay.
That's enough.
Anything else anybody has?
Yeah.
Just about,
Go ahead, oh,
The last thing you guys wanted me to check into was the weed spraying along the sides of the road last year.
yeah,
We paid for the road weeds to be sprayed along the side of the roads. It didn't work. So before we do it next year, how about some recommendations of what they are supposed to use to spray?
I think the reason why was because it sprayed later in the year.
Well, we'll take whatever suggestions you want to give us.
Okay. Well, we already know we need to spray earlier next year.
Okay?
Oh,
So we can put that on the list of our
in,
timeline.
in my report, I made, a suggestion that we get together, you, Victor,
Yeah.
and me, in January, and we do our master timeline, with implementation dates in January.
Okay,
And the two other things I've got that was asked to pass on to is please don't use the blue truck until we get it fixed. It was evidently involved in an accident, you got taillights out.
You mean the trail truck?
Yeah, the blue one.
What
I
happened?
don't think it was
I broke-
involved in an
I broke
accident.
a tail light.
He backed into something?
Broke into the fence.
Yeah, so,
The word I got was that it was an accident,
No, it's
no,
and it's not covered by insurance at the moment, so,
A tail light replacement?
so
yeah.
he ordered tail light,
I'm just,
and,
Okay.
I'm just paying for it.
yeah,
Okay. And the other one is, please, if you're gonna call some kind of consultant, run it through Trevor before you ever do it, because we've all of a sudden gotten some bills that we didn't know were coming.
What
Yeah,
consultant?
like what?
Uh,
Anything?
One of Abel's engineers
Who?
evidently was called to the town.
We didn't do it.
Wait. Who's they?
Ernie,
Oh, Ernie.
we got
okay,
billed for Ernie.
For what though?
For sprinklers.
Where were the sprinklers? Where were the
I
sprinklers?
think it's when, I just was told about it, I think it was about when we were trying to get water, and, so, is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Okay.
How much did he charge?
I have no idea. I was just asked to bring that
Okay.
to
So
the group.
everything needs to go through Trevor.
Well, thanks for the nice free consultation, right, on what's, okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Oak Park, I know water irrigation is a question down there. So I researched and I can get drip irrigation around all of the fir trees, the aspens, the
Yeah.
fruit trees, all that stuff. I know we were talking about putting a circle, but it seems that that would be not cost prohibitive, but a lot more expensive than to just run one line around each tree, make a circle, and then just put emitters.
Around that.
Yeah, we don't have to make up our own little circles and everything. And it's gonna run about 1,000 feet of sprinkler line, whatever emitters we need, 3, 4, 500, whatever. And the connectors, and that's gonna run about $700 for that. And that's timers, I'll make up a manifold to run off that hydrant that's right there by the fir. And then we have other hydrants near crop circles there that I can run a timer off those too.
Awesome,
Nice, that would be great.
yeah.
Oh, we don't. Were we gonna include crop circles?
The aspen trees to run it along to the
Oh,
aspen
the
trees up
aspen
there.
Of the aspen trees on the north, I mean, on the
Yeah.
east and west side?
West side.
Okay, but what about, are we also gonna do, have we thought about the, because I thought about this, established trees, do they need, irrigation, I mean, watering?
Wherever they need water, whichever trees need water, we can get to, as long as we don't have to like tunnel under a driveway.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we can just lay it straight out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be probably.
So are you gonna have one, how are you gonna do it without tunneling under that road? I
We're
guess-
not gonna be able to.
Well, there's the hydrant for the firs, right
So you're just
there.
gonna use that hydrant over there?
Right, and then there are hydrants.
And a battery-
near the
a
dog
battery
park or the
operated?
crop
Yeah.
circles for the aspens.
Okay.
Well, then even on the north side for the apple trees, you can run another, like those 2 cottonwoods and the apples, you can run, there's a
Well, we
faucet
could
on
use-
the north side.
We can use a hydrant that's on the north
Yeah.
side
Mhm.
that we water with now.
Oh, that's right,
So,
yeah.
That's perfect.
That sounds good.
So we can get started on that now, or rather than,
I think let's start on the rocks first.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but I would, if he's got time, that doesn't take that long. If you wanna, you just have to, you gotta get it ordered. I think you want it
Yeah,
in
take
place
about a week
before
to come
next
in.
year.
Well, I think,
Well, if you don't get it all done this fall, we'll have all the materials for
That's
next
right.
spring,
Yeah.
ready to go. So I make a motion that we
Or-
give Phil enough money to buy the sprinkler system.
Yeah.
So what's a good cushion? 1,000?
Oh, easy. I mean,
Okay, let's say $1,000.
$1,000.
yeah.
Motion's on the floor.
$700 for the emitters, so 1,700 would be more, 1,800 would be more.
no, 1,000 is.
Cover it all.
plenty, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Okay.
I second.
There's a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay,
And
go ahead, what?
Change our meeting date.
Oh, yeah.
Not the 14th?
No, it's 14th.
No, because they're having some kind of town thing on the 16th.
The 14th is.
A Tuesday.
Workshop and town council meeting. Because that turns out to be the second Tuesday of the month.
So, but
We can still have our meeting downstairs, maybe, yeah.
Well, the workshop will probably go from about 10, it normally goes to about 12. And then this place is empty until you come back to the town council meeting at 7, so you still got that time in
Okay.
between.
Yeah, because Rue says on the, let's see, October, yeah, on the 16th, there was a
Yeah, now that one's gonna be a fun meeting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a leadership meeting.
leadership meeting, yeah.
Priorities are going to be established based upon the master plan.
So the 14th at 2 o'clock.
yeah.
These might be really abbreviated minutes for next week.
That's fine.
I have like 5 appraisals.
Now,
due
I have a
next week.
question, and I don't think we met in November and December?
We did
No.
What?
Yeah, we did not.
Yeah, we did not last year.
Right.
So we're gonna follow that same, because I gotta tell downstairs about that. All right, anything else, people?
I have a
Okay.
couple of things.
Okay.
Stuff that I forgot. You remember how we gave this back to the ambassadors? We gave the Friends of the Bridger Teton $500.
Yes.
For transportation. I think she's gonna give you an accounting of this when she comes to this Jennifer, you know who Jennifer is?
I think so.
Rick Aparo, she's the FBT gal that presents to try to get funding and stuff like that. So she's gonna wanna know, I don't think they spent it, is the bottom line. For whatever reason, and I don't know the accounting, and she'll be able to fill you in on that, but I think we have a bank of money still with them, and we can choose to do a couple of things with it, but, I just wanted to let you know that, so.
Okay.
Now, we could use it, we could let them keep it and use it next year, we could do other stuff, whatever, but in any case, I just wanted to let you know, cause she told me that, and I said, oh, okay, that's always good.
Yeah.
You've got money that didn't get spent, so she'll give it back to you if you want, but, yeah, you can ask her when she talks to you about it. On a side note, I didn't brief you guys on this, but you know, we went and did a dog waste station at Murphy Lake. That basically, the Forest Service was asking for help because they have algae bloom problems over there. And so they went to the Friends of the, because the Forest Service it's amazing, it's probably one of these things where they're like, it's such a big organization to come up with little bits of money like that is like a major big deal to them. So they went to the Friends of the Bridger Teton, who said, okay, we'll help you try to get, they wanted 2 of these stations. And the Friends of the Bridger Teton said, okay, we'll help you out. And so they went to Bridger Animal Hospital, and asked them to donate the money, and they did. So they donated enough for the one station at Murphy Lake. And then I went over there with Eric, the hydrologist, and we installed it 2 weeks ago. And so it's a done deal. And I don't think it cost that much. I think it was like less than $300, something like that. And so, because I had told Jennifer that if they were having trouble funding a dog waste station, that I would ask you guys
Yeah.
if the NRB would fund one, because that's sort of our charter is to help out the forest.
Yeah.
So the second one that they want is in Swift Creek. There's a trail down there that's called the Star Trail, and they have a huge dog waste problem. Yes, and so I told her, I said, well, you know, maybe we could use some of this money that you already have to fund, because if it's only like $270, you've already got the money. So just be aware that there may be an opportunity for us to help them out. Okay. And we're helping out the Forest Service, who wants to put these in to get control of dog waste.
Well, it helps everybody.
And we wouldn't we wouldn't have to be involved in it at all. You know, they will, Jennifer told me, we won't put it in unless the Forest Service has a plan for how they're gonna clean it. You know, the one over at Murphy Lake, it's right by one of the vault toilets right there at the lake. So they have a crew that comes through there and does routine maintenance, and they can clean it and make sure there's bags, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Putting in the station is easy, it's the management that's the hard part. So, there's a possibility that we could help them out with that, you know, she'll probably talk to you, but,
Okay.
you know, it's up to you guys whether you wanna help. I
say we help them.
I look at it like,
Let's help.
if we have the money, it's not a lot, and it helps out the forest. It's a
Well, it's a
good,
good thing.
and we get a lot of good press, like at the collaborative, you know,
It helps the
because
dogs too.
they talk all the time about how the town of Star Valley Ranch is, you know, funded the ambassadors, and, you know, it's a good thing for the town. So,
I think
Okay.
why not give some help, that help people?
yeah, cause I try to offer the Forest Service the services of our crew to go help on other trails, but I can't do that without them being there, because it has to be under their
Supervision?
if I'm not working on the trails that are in this agreement,
Yeah.
which is the ones adjacent to the town, then I've gotta have somebody else's that your sign-in sheet is
Yeah.
under, right? So if I can't do that, then we can help out in other
That's
ways
what-
too, you
Well,
know?
we have money, and
Yeah.
it's not
And
gonna
they-
cost.
well-
And it's for a good,
It's
yeah.
for the good,
Yeah.
it promotes good.
It's a trail on the Bridger Teton, and that's sort of, you know, it's just not adjacent to the town. So it's just one of those things, whether you wanna help out or not, so.
Yes, we do.
So-
Oh, we would,
They-
yeah.
They help us a lot.
So if she wants to use that 500 for that, that's fine.
Yeah, so if you guys,
Yeah.
you probably should vote on that to say if,
Oh, yeah,
because
so-
she did say that she has it,
Make
and,
a I move that we furnish up to $500 to the Friends of Bridger Teton National Forest to help them with dog stations at
Swift Creek.
Swift Creek,
Swift Creek.
yeah.
I second.
Or the leftover money.
Or
Or
what's,
that-
Or
up
what's that?
to, whatever.
Up to
Yeah, 'cause I
500,
don't know, she didn't give me a full accounting, but I know she didn't use hardly any of
Okay.
it.
And Joanne,
So-
you seconded?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ready?
Oh, and I was gonna tell you about the truck, so
Oh.
I broke the tail light on the truck backing into the Cedar Creek trailhead to empty the dog waste
Waste.
bag. And I hit the buck and pole fence and it cracked the lens. That was the accident.
When I got that email, I'm
Remember I sent you
going,
an-
yeah, and then I got down and go, accident? There was no accident, it was just
Well,
like,
it's,
well, okay, the way it was worded, it sounded like you got in a major accident.
I don't think you should have to.
I don't think you
no,
should
I'll
have to
pay
pay
for
for
it.
it either.
No, I'll pay for it. I don't even wanna hear it.
Okay, all righty.
I damaged it, it's, you know, I'm not worried about it.
I haven't seen it, I don't know anything about it.
No, but the way that it was worded, it was like it was
The good piece of it is
accident,
we found out
you know, like the
the
truck
truck was
got
not
totaled or
insured.
Oh,
something.
really?
I go,
Now,
the
when are
only,
you leaving for your next trip?
Well, I
19.
was gonna ask you what that meant, cause I,
17.
we've been driving that thing around for years.
So we should be able to have everything
That's the good side of
Yeah.
this.
nailed down.
Yeah, yeah.
The main interim.
Right.
That's always,
All right.
okay, that's good.
So I move we adjourn.
Adjourn, approve. Adjourn, second, although, aye.
Aye. At 4:01.
Thanks,
A
everybody.
new record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a record?
I think, isn't it?